Kemp Pilates, and I'm going to be taking you through a Pilates-based seated workout that you can do during pregnancy to help really strengthen you and support you through your pregnancy, so you are in the best position you can be when it comes to the birth or the labour and the birth. So it's very much about supporting your posture, helping you to have that control of the body and be nice and strong and stable, particularly around your hips and pelvis, and also just feel good. So it can just be the chance for you to just check in with your breath and get that sense of centering. So obviously if you have any concerns, please check with your doctor. If you have any pelvic pain or even pain around your sacroiliac joint, just be careful with any big movements, taking the leg out wide. Generally there's a lot more relaxing running through your body, so your joints are going to be a lot more pliable, more flexible. So just being careful that you're not taking your stretches to a really full range, so keeping everything nice and stable and strong. And of course, one of the key things that we want to focus on is maintaining that good posture, because our centre of gravity changes throughout pregnancy. So as the baby grows, that's going to put more strain on your back, and you can start developing more of a curve through your spine, which of course happens as the baby grows. But we just want to be careful that we're not then putting too much strain, increasing that curve too much in the spine, and equally feeling heavy as your chest increases, feeling heavy around the top here. So lots of strengthening for the back line of the body, supporting your lower back, upper back, and of course around the front to keep you strong and stable there. So rather than thinking about sitting up straight and forcing your rib cage out, just have a sense of pushing gently through your feet and lifting up through your armpits, so that automatically elongates your spine, but without creating that hinge position there. So like I say, as you go further through the pregnancy and the bump gets bigger, just again thinking of that nice lift up, rather than giving into that dumping into your lower back. And I can speak from experience that Pilates really helped me through my 4 pregnancies and births. So it really is such a great support for you to keep you strong, and also be prepared for when you have that baby arriving, because you're going to be doing lots of lifting and holding and feeding, and that can also bring your posture into this bit of a collapsed, rounded posture. So again, focus on that upright posture, lifting up through your armpits as you press down through your feet. And then if you place your hands on the top of your thighs, then think you're going to keep your legs and arms pretty still, and try and move your pelvis and shoulder blades around them, and that will take you into a rounded back, like a C-curve shape, and then come back all the way through to your start position, that neutral spine and pelvis position. So to show you from the side, from that upright position, I'm going to try and move my pelvis around my legs and my shoulder blades around my arms, finding that C-curve, and then all the way back through, lifting up through the armpits, round the back, and extend to neutral. So this is the cat stretch, if you are familiar with Pilates, that you would do on all fours on the mat. And really see if you can get that initiation from the pelvis and your shoulder blades moving up and around the arms and the legs. And all these movements should feel good, not forced, not grippy. So work within your own range of movement, even if it's really small. And the other great thing about Pilates is the breath that can help to support you. So we use style of breathing called lateral or thoracic breathing. So we're really trying to expand your ribs, breathing more around the back and sides rather than up into the chest. So to give you some feedback, you could put your hands around your ribs towards the sides and the back, fill your rib cage, and then as you breathe in, try and breathe your ribs into your hands. So you feel your ribs expand into your hands, and then as you breathe out, the ribs naturally close in a little bit as if your hands are coming closer together. Breathing in to your ribs and then out. Now, if this is a difficult position for you, you could ask somebody, if you've got someone there, to put their hands around the back and sides of your ribs and breathe into their hands. And just notice, are you breathing up into your shoulders? If you are, just try and let them release. Get that breath going wide, into the back, into the sides. Another way you can feel this is to use something like a TheraBand, a scarf, even a pair of tights. Wrap that around your lower ribs. Then I like to cross it over, holding each hand with a gentle pull so you can feel that around your ribs. So again, as you breathe in, you're breathing into that band around the rib cage. And as you breathe out, you can give that a little gentle pull to help those ribs close. And then breathe into the band and out. So just this breathing, just sitting and doing this breathing can be quite beneficial to just calm your system and focus on sending that full breath into the ribs. So you can keep this breath going either with the band or just your hands, or you can even take your hands back out the way, but just think about that breath still going out. A bit like an accordion, it expands outwards and back and then in together as the air goes. So keep that breath going. And then we want to obviously be supported and strong through the pelvic floor, through the abdominals. The abdominals are a bit like a corset to support the bump. So let's think about that pelvic floor first of all. So that is a sling that goes underneath from back passage to front passage. And on your next out breath, if you can draw that up from underneath, gently drawing up without squeezing the legs, without clenching the bum. And then breathing in, let that release fully. So some people like using the analogy of a lift, so the lift doors come together and gently draw up. And you then come down through the different floors fully all the way and release. Drawing in and up on that out breath. And as you breathe in, just let that pelvic floor release. So we're not really thinking about the abdominals at all. Just see if you can find that sense of drawing up through back passage to front passage and then back down. If you're struggling to feel it, you could perhaps get a rolled up towel and just pop that right underneath you. So you're literally sitting on something that you can feel, rolled up towel, you should be able to feel there, and then you're trying to lift away from there and then back down. Or perhaps if you've got an armchair and it's got quite a solid arm, you could straddle that armchair and that can give you that feedback, that sensory feedback to feel that you're lifting the pelvic floor up from there and down. We don't want it to be gripping, just gently drawing up and then making sure you release. You need to have that ability to release the pelvic floor so the baby is able to come out when you are going through labour. Okay, so that's the pelvic floor. And we also want to support around the lower back and support the bump. So we want to think of your abdominals, the particular muscle that we're using, like a band running around from just around your belly button and around towards your spine, almost lower than a belly button actually. And you're just going to, on your out breath, draw that in towards your spine as you draw the pelvic floor up, and then the pelvic floor and abdominals can release completely on that in breath. And again, it's just very gentle, just like you're hugging your bump so you feel supported. Not so much that you draw in and actually change your position, it's just that sense of gently drawing away from your belly button towards your spine and then letting that go completely on the in-breath. And if you get confused with the breathing pattern, don't worry, just maybe watch the video again and come back to that. Okay, so we're just going to keep the breathing going, seeing if we can connect through the pelvic floor, through the abdominals. And then we're going to pop the hands on the outside of the legs. Gently press your legs against your hands, the hands back into the legs. And we're going to hinge forward from your hips. So we're keeping the spine in the same position as we hinge from the hips. Think your armpits are lifting you up and back, coming back up over your hips. We hinge and return. So to show you from a side angle, we're hinging, we're keeping the natural curves through the spine, hinging from the hips, as if your back pockets are sliding up your back, and return. So it's not about flexing the spine or reaching your arms to get you down there. We're keeping the shoulder blades on the back, we're pressing the hands against the legs, and they just slide down as you hinge from your hips. So we're lengthening the glutes as we go that way, and then we're shortening them as we come back. So again, strengthening your glutes here is going to really help to support your lower back as that bump grows. And all of this should really help with the general aches and pains that you can get throughout pregnancy. And of course, fatigue can increase depending on what stage you're at. Sometimes you might feel that you've got more energy than at other times. And I would just really listen to your body. So rest is also important. So then we can start to bring some more spinal movement into this. So we hinge forward just like we did. And as you come back up, can you tuck your tailbone underneath you, round your back into that C curve. And then once you're up, sitting up straight. So again, I'll show you from that side angle. We hinge forward, and then it's spinal flexion to come up. Hinging forward from your hips, flexing the spine. It's like you're rippling through the spine. Really nice to take some pressure off the lower back. One more. And it's really important to keep your spine going through all the planes of movement that it can do, so rotation and lateral flexion. So let's do some lateral flexion first. So feet planted on the floor. You could have one hand maybe underneath the chair here, lifting up, or just pressing on top of the chair, depending on the size of your chair. You might even want to shift off to one side so you have got a bit more space here for that arm. So you've got options. I'll just keep in the centre for now. And then you can float this arm up and go up and over into that side bend. So we're allowing this elbow to bend as we side bend through the spine and then back. And again, side bend all the way up. If you don't like taking the arm up, you could just simply keep that across your chest. See if you can keep pressing those toes into the floor. And then take your other hand, either grabbing under the chair there and lifting up or pressing down. Either floating your arm up and then over into the side bend, or the arm just across the chest. Think of lifting up from this side up towards your armpit, enjoying that sense of space that you're creating in there. One more. I'll add the arm for this one. And don't be surprised if one side feels different to the other. It's perfectly normal. Okay, so we've done the lateral flexion. So now let's think about some rotation. So to do the rotation, why not add a bit of stability for the shoulders? Can we keep the shoulder blades on the back? So we're going to go one palm up, one palm down, and press either the bottom arm up into the top. Try that. And then release, and then try pressing the top arm into the bottom. So what we're looking for here is just a sense of something just switching on around the shoulders. That doesn't mean a gripping or a burning. If it feels like that, that is too much. So just ease off on the pressure, or try pushing. If you were pushing up, then try pushing down. So let's keep that connection. Turn your eyes, your head, your neck and your spine one way, so your arms just go with you because they are connected through the shoulders on the back, and then return. Try going the other way. And you'll probably notice the range of movement is different each side. So we all have a favourite side. If someone was to call my name, I would never choose to turn that way. That just feels quite unnatural. So my rotation is always more going that way. So come back into centre. Switch your hand position. So it's going to feel strange, but let's just give it a try. Try pushing up through the underneath arm. Breathe there, and then try pushing down through the top arm. See which you prefer, and rotate. Sometimes I say visualise a shark fin that's running down your spine from the nape of the neck to your tailbone, and visualise that whole fin turning towards one side and then the other. Not forcing the movement. And remembering we've got that band that runs around the lower abdominals. It's just gently supporting your bump. Breathing into those ribs. And then back to centre. So we've done some rotation. I want to just think a little bit about moving the pelvis around the legs. Go careful if you do have any issues with your sacroiliac joint, or if you have any pain in the front of the pelvis, maybe leave this bit out. But if you're fine, you're going to press the feet into the floor, hands on your thighs, try and press your thighs up into your hands. Then see if you can lift one bum cheek just off the chair, lower it down, and then lift the other one off the chair and lower down. Lift one, down, lift the other, down. So it probably doesn't look like I'm doing a huge amount, but in each bum cheek we have a bony bit, just here in each bum cheek. That's your sitting bone, and I'm literally just trying to lift one sitting bone, so one bum cheek away from the chair, and then back onto the chair, away and back on. So it's just this slight movement of the pelvis around the legs. Good. Relax. So my favourite exercise when I was pregnant, because I really wanted to get a sense of opening through the front line of the body and work through the upper back, to counteract that forward position as everything gets heavier. And also really important, like I said, for once you've got the baby and you're having to do lots of holding the baby. So I'll show you the bit with the ball in a moment. So just a free seated, no props version is fingertips together, hands to the back of the head. So you're sitting up nice and tall. Once you've got your hands behind your head, don't pull your head forward. I want you to press the back of the head into your hands. Feet pressing into the floor, sitting up nice and tall. Then look up with your eyes, lift your chin slightly, lift your breastbone up towards the ceiling. And then come back to centre. So what's happening is we're taking our spine into extension through the upper part of the back. The lower part of the back and the pelvis is staying out of it. So that's staying in its neutral position. So from the side, it's just the upper, back going into extension and returning. So try not to lose that connection of the head pressing into the hands as you lift up that breastbone, really sensing that lengthening through here, opening across the chest and return. And if you want to get more of a stretch across here, as you go up and over, rather than the elbows going or staying up towards the ceiling, once you're there, you can carefully open the arms out, as long as that feels good, and then bring them back towards the ceiling and then come through to your neutral. So the option with the ball, something like this, or maybe a folded over cushion, just something that can go between you and the back of your chair. So it goes roughly between your shoulder blades. You might need to sit back onto your chair a bit more so you can keep it there. And this way you can more passively go up and over the ball. So you've got that ball for some feedback. So your hands will be in the same position. Support your head, press it into your hands. And then looking up, lift your breastbone up and over the ball or the cushion, whatever you're using behind you, to really open up there and back. And like I said, just being really careful, particularly with this one, because it can be easy to go further over. Just watch that this doesn't happen as you go over, you're not just dumping into your lower back. So your pelvis is staying where it is, and you're extending up and over the ball, lengthening that front line and strengthening the back. And that one I used to love to do. If you have a gym ball, you can pop that against a wall, sit on the floor, and you'll do the same thing. So your back will be against the ball, into that same position, and you will go up and over the ball and get that lovely sense of opening, that extension of the upper back. You could even do it if your sofa's quite soft and if you've got nice squiddy cushions. Sit with your back, you're sitting on the floor with your back up against the cushion, the seat part, and you'll go, and you might need to put an extra cushion there just to make it the right height, depending on your height, and you do the same thing up and over. So that really gets that sense of lengthening, gets some more space and supporting your spine. So final thing, we just go back to your good posture. So press the feet into the floor, lifting up through your armpits, sitting up nice and tall. See if you can get that lateral thoracic breathing, expanding your ribs. And just keep going back to this. And on each out breath, see if you can gently draw up through that pelvic floor, feeling that support. As you breathe in, let it go. Really relax it completely. That is just as important. So I really hope you have enjoyed these movements, and just try and incorporate some of them every day. And you really will find that helpful to keep your strength up, to keep you supported. So you really are in the best position then when it is time to go through all that work of labour and supporting the baby once it arrives. So final thing we're going to do is just keep that breath going, connecting through your centre, and we'll add some arms coming up and then press them out and down. So remember, we want the ribs to be going out towards the sides and out into your back as your arms are going up. So this is the in breath, your ribs are expanding, and then the out breath, the arms come down, your ribs close. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, checking in with your posture. You've got that lift up through the armpits. You're not just forcing your chest forward to sit up straight. And then place your hands onto your legs. Close your eyes if that feels safe for you. And take a few deep breaths here. Just not forcing that breath, just let it come and go. The sense of that lengthened spine. And then when you're ready, opening your eyes and just relax. So do come back to this video and try it again. Let me know how you get on, and if you have any questions, please also let us know, and I will be happy to help with anything. But I really hope you enjoy it and it really supports you through your pregnancy.